Welcome, everyone, to the Sounding Off podcast and our usual Sunday Night Live. 8 p.m. Moscow time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. And welcome to my partner in crime, Kevin. What's going on?
Well, after our last 2 nights of streams and the wonderful comments I've been getting under videos about being a Putin puppet, I decided it was better to be red than dead.
Better red than dead. Amen. Amen. Hey, G-Man. Hey, Edelwolf. Thanks for being in the live.
Hey.
Who else is here, you said?
Oh, Daniel's there. Oh, no, that's you. I saw Moscow, and I thought Moscow settlers, but no, that was you.
I see. And Erica Ray, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where you are. Edelwolf says he would rather be a Putin puppet than a Biden puppet, or else. Yeah, I hear you guys. I hear you. Well, earlier I said we were running a little bit late because we had technical difficulties. So I said, if you have some time, go and pour yourself a cup of wine. So I'm drinking wine tonight instead of my customary coffee. I have coffee, but
I'm almost out of tea. So.
Oh, man. But the wife and I, Mrs. Moscow Photographer, we recently celebrated our first anniversary on the 17th of the month. We've been so busy, we haven't had a chance to celebrate properly. And she recently went to Yerevan, Armenia, and she brought back a gift for us. And I don't know if you guys could see this, but this is Voskevas Areni Noir 2021. This is red wine. And so we cooked up some steaks tonight and had some red wine. And I'm still enjoying mine, by the way. Don't mind me. This is very, very good wine. This is Armenian wine and the grapes from Armenian farms. And 100%.
So what was the date of your anniversary?
It's really good. Say again?
What was the date?
17th February.
17th. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, G-Man. We got Odious Wright in the chat.
Odious. George's is
there. And we got the usual suspects, don't we?
Victor.
Dobre večer. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Edelwolf. Wow. Glad to have everybody here because we got some news to talk about. I mean, every day we could do a live, Kevin. I mean, I'm serious. With all of the crap and changes going on. But
we don't, however, have the news we expected to have, which is out of London.
Yeah, London's been fairly quiet, and it's already, 8:30, almost 8:30 p.m. in Moscow, which would be 6:30.
5:30 there.
5:30, you said, in the UK?
They're GMT right now.
Say again?
They're GMT right now.
Oh, so, they are GMT, so they're minus 3 hours. Yeah. So they're 5 p.m., 5:30, and still nothing coming out of them. But that's okay, because although we do like to give you the day's headlines and the day's news, we both strive to give you a macro perspective from a larger, higher altitude, 40,000 foot point of view as we kind of interpret things. And that kind of brings us to tonight's episode and what we want to talk about, because everyone's talking about, first of all, we had a Zelensky meeting with Trump that went totally south. And Zelensky fled the U.S. if I could say so, and fled right into the arms of Starmer. Quite literally, he ran into the arms of Starmer. I don't know if you guys have seen the video. I didn't clip it for this purpose, but there's a video where Zelensky exits his vehicle, and Starmer doesn't wait for Zelensky to meet him. He rushes up to him, and they embrace warmly and affectionately in front of 10 Downing when Zelensky got there. So he literally fled from the U.S. directly into the arms of Keir Starmer.
Well, there was a stop before Starmer. He actually met with the head of NATO, and apparently he scared him a little bit too, so he had to run into Starmer's arms.
And what did the head of NATO tell him?
I'll paraphrase a little bit, but he told them, get right with your relationship with Trump or get out. So what do we think that's based on?
Reality, for starters.
Yeah, you think NATO's seeing that they're largely reliant on the United States, and without the United States, there is no NATO?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And George has asked this question: wonder who paid for Z-Man's transport? And this, I didn't clip this information to show to you guys, but the Trump administration refused to pay for expenses for Zelensky's staff and his travel. So they didn't pay for hotel, meals, travel, no reimbursement whatsoever. So good question. Who paid for it?
Let's be realistic. The United States taxpayers probably still paid for it.
In one way or another. Round
Biden's money. Yeah.
Yeah. But very interesting, because at least the Trump administration is saying they did not fork it out.
Martian. Daddy, Trump was mean to me.
Big time, big time. All right.
So Erica's adding, do we think the USA will stay in NATO?
Well,
what do you think?
Very good point.
Yeah.
This was, what was this? Senator Mike Lee has proposed that U.S. withdraw from NATO. And then, of course, we've had Elon Musk weigh in and give his support to that as well. And so be interesting to see. Tomorrow's Monday, first working day of the week in the U.S. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I think they wanted to get this into the news cycle over the weekend,
yep,
so that they could start talking about it during the week. And I think it'll gain some momentum between now and then.
So it's going to gain momentum by Thursday, because Thursday is actually the security conference on Ukraine in Europe. So the only guys that were invited to today's meeting were the pro-Ukrainian guys for the most part. Anybody who has had any hesitation about supporting Ukraine or sending them more money wasn't invited. Turkey was invited, but Turkey isn't a guarantee on Zelensky either, because I've heard that Slovenia, Hungary, and Turkey are peeved at Zelensky for trying to blow up the Turk Stream pipeline, which supplies them all with gas.
Wow. So we have internal fighting.
Yeah. Turkey is there as a mediator, according to the agenda.
Hey, Daniel, we see Moscow Settlers. I see Daniel in the chat. Hey, man, if you'd like to join, I'll send you the link so you can join. Just let me know here. But I got your question starred because that's a very good question that not many people are talking about. But we'll save it for maybe later on in the podcast. But if you want, we'll send you an invite.
Yeah, and I want to say hi to the guys over on Rumble. We've got a good audience, or RooTube. We've got a good audience over there. So I want to address Emily's comment here. There aren't going to be nukes from the UK in Ukraine. This statement has already been made by Starmer. They are not going to sell nukes. The rumor that the banker at what the heck was his name? Moo Money or Money or something, a Ukrainian bank, put out a joke fundraiser to buy nukes from the UK. And he has since come out and said, I didn't think people would take me seriously. We will either refund your money or we will use it to buy ammunition for, put it into a war fund for Ukraine. But the UK has said they will not be selling nukes. And they do understand that although they can push the United States somewhat, they aren't going to get away with that, because the minute they put a nuke on Ukrainian territory, that makes them, their country, a target of Russia, and they're not covered under Article 5 of NATO, because they are then aggressors in a current war conflict. So they aren't stupid.
Yeah. All right, guys, we've been on for about 12 minutes. Let's get and dig into the topic of today, which is, what is my title anyway? New enemy. Same deep state. Yeah. So this came out by the Financial Times of London. Now, the Financial Times of London, if you do not know, is one of the premier loudspeakers and voices of the deep state and the elites. And the Financial Times puts out today, or what day is this? Today's not the... Oh, this was several days ago. Okay, this was when I think Zelensky met with Trump. The U.S. is now the enemy of the West. Now, if you ask me, this was already pre-planned, it was ready to go. They just needed something to happen for them to put this out. But look at this graphic. You've got Ukraine there with the arrows, arrows meaning war, and you've got the U.S. and the tricolors of Russia. The U.S. is now the enemy of the West. And who's the West? Who are they talking about? They're talking about the collective West. They're talking about EU, UK. As I said in my walking talk video, that for some reason YouTube has not seen, I guess, that it's worthy enough to be pushed out, because there's only like 270 views. Anyway, but in that video, I mentioned about the collective West. And yeah, so we've got a new enemy now. There is a new enemy. It used to be Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. Who else was a big one we could throw in there every now and then? Let's see. Those were probably the big four.
Yeah.
Nicaragua. We'll throw Nicaragua in there.
Nicaragua.
But now it's the U.S.
They're not. Yeah. And, there's a lot of other guys that aren't overly friendly with the West either. In South America, Africa, Asia
Absolutely.
Pacific. Yeah.
Over the weekend, I saw this, and I can't remember whose account it was, but it was obviously a pro-Western elite account. But these are the new talking points now, okay? if you've noticed it, calling the United States West Russia. But actually, I think they got this wrong, because they should have included Canada as West Russia, because Canada is the 51st state. But I guess they didn't get that.
Yeah, I was going to say they should have erased that top border of the U.S.
Yeah, and just left it U.S. up there. So, wow.
So, Alex, Trudeau is there because Canada is also in the We Support Ukraine tribe.
Very much so. So if you look at the United States, you've got Canada up at the top, you've got Mexico at the bottom, and with Canada on top, with Trudeau, he is securing the northern flank for the deep state. On the south, it's a little bit more nebulous, because you've got cartel activity, you've got Mexico, and a government that you really don't know whether they're liberal or conservative, or which way are they pointing, in what direction. You really don't know. But there's a huge deep state element in Mexico as well. So you've got the northern flank, the southern flank, the U.S. in the middle.
Yeah.
And check this out, Ryan. Appreciate it, Ryan. From X.
From X again. Cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah. So
Dingbat, I think you meant if Russia ever did invade the United States, but yeah, the U.S. I don't know. The U.S. might be on a better path right now. Is it worth defending? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to click that. Is it worth defining deep state briefly for people so they actually know what we're talking about?
Yes.
I don't want to call our viewers, most of them understand what we're talking about, but
we will. I just want to make a combat. I guess that's the wine, folks. Little loose on the tongue. But I wanted to address Dingbat's comment. Are you old enough to remember the movie Red Dawn from the mid-'80s back in the U.S.? If you know the movie Red Dawn, put it down in the comments in the chat. But we'll circle around back to that. So who is the deep state? What is the deep state? So it's kind of hard to explain in simple terms. It is a group of unelected bureaucrats on one level. On another level, it is the corporatocracy. So this is like CEOs of major corporations and banking systems. At the same time, it's also rogue elements in the intelligence community. It is also some elected officials who have been captured by this same group. And it is also a group of very wealthy elite people who, whether through mutual cooperation, they see the same target at the end. I don't know if there's like one figurehead at the top, but they all have the same agenda. And that is some form, in my opinion, of fascism, some form of elite control of the entire population, and world domination by a singular government, singular point of government. That would be my explanation. I can't explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old. Maybe Kevin can.
So I'll try. The term deep state refers to the idea that a hidden or unelected network of government officials, intelligence agencies, military leaders, bureaucrats, and and I haven't had wine, influential elite operate independently of elected political leaders, shaping policy and major decisions behind the scenes. And the concept suggests that these groups maintain power regardless of political change and work to protect their own interests, and sometimes at odd with the public and elected officials. Now, interesting point. The term deep state first came from Turkey.
Really?
Derin Devlet. Yeah, Derin Devlet, where there was a clandestine network of military intelligence and government officials allegedly working to maintain control over the government.
Interesting.
And our good friend ChatGPT, and it's very non-Western oriented bullshit manner, says it also comes from Russia, where the idea overlaps with Siloviki, security officials, and oligarch power structures that maintain influence over the government. So our good friend ChatGPT, just so you guys know, is definitely a leftist.
And Erica writes, I thought the deep state in Mexico was the cartels. The cartels in Mexico are the external mechanism of the deep state. They are not the deep state. They're an external apparatus of the deep state, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Tim Perry, thank you.
Absolutely, Tim. Thanks for joining. What else we got here? Anyway, so speaking of the deep state, there is a war going on. The United States, let me back up. When I make reference to the United States, I'm actually referring to the Trump administration, because we were under the Biden regime. Now we're under Trump. So the Trump administration is at war with the deep state. In case you didn't know, I'm just letting you know now. They are at war. And what you are seeing in real time play out is, and correct me if I'm wrong in my thinking, Kevin, that the deep state in the U.S., that side of the deep state has been, I'm not saying they're down and out, but they got stunned. Just like a boxing match, they got pummeled. Yeah. Boom. And they're down. They're not out, but they're down. But who has risen up to take the right flank, so to speak, okay, or the eastern flank, and says, we'll take over from here? This is the EU and the UK, Macron, all of that era. So I want you to see a volley in this war, okay? I'm going to play this clip, and I want you to think and internalize that this is actually an attack and a volley like you were on a battlefield. Here we go.
Countries of Europe, I love all countries, frankly, all different, but the European Union's been, it was formed in order to screw the United States. I mean, look, let's be honest. The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
What will happen if these countries where the EU retaliate?
They can't. I mean, they can try.
What would happen if the EU or these countries would retaliate? And what was Trump's answer? They could try, but nothing's going to happen. Okay? Now, you may think of this as a war of words. Well, in the public domain and on social media, and it is a war of words. But believe me, it is an actual war of power that is going on. And that right there, that was a volley. That was a shot across the bow. Because what happened right after that? who came out? This was what's her name? I forgot her name. Ursula.
Van der Leyen?
Maleficent, I like to call it. Van der Leyen. Yeah. She came out and said, no, we will answer this. We will respond in kind, because she was talking about the tariffs that were being imposed on the EU and verbal attacks like this. So that was it.
But she's an idiot. You know?
Hey, don't put me and Ursula von der Leyen in the same category, my friend.
Okay. She's stupido. Because think about it. Trump's tariffs. Trump isn't just massively applying tariffs to everyone. His executive order says, charge us on imports, we're charging them on imports. So he's been very clear. It's a tit for tat thing. So he isn't applying tariffs on them that they aren't already charging the United States. So it's a stupid statement on her part.
Yeah. Hey, we got a new viewer, a viewer I haven't seen here before. Oh, I'm sorry. You put that up.
I put that one up. Yeah. What would the EU retaliate with? Yeah. So this is kind of what I've been told is going on behind the scenes in London. I don't know for a fact, can't verify it, but all these public statements are being made to show a supposed unified front to the rest of the world from the Western countries. But keep in mind, they only invited the guys who were pro-support Ukraine. They did not invite the Baltic states because they were determined to be too aggressive in support of Ukraine. They're the guys who want the EU. Yeah, they want the EU to put troops in and the nukes and start a war with Russia. So they got left out, as did the, let's make peace with Russia guys. But I'm told that behind the scenes, they have no clue what they're going to do because they know they're all kaput without the United States and the support of the United States. So they don't really know how they're going to handle things.
That is why Ursula's initial response after this Trump clip was very vague. She says, we will retaliate. We will answer to this. She didn't say how. She didn't say what. She doesn't know. Yeah, absolutely.
So you were saying something about a new guy in the chat.
Oh, I was going to show... where is this guy?
Jam?
No. Daniel Falcon is how you would pronounce it. Listening from Kerrville, Texas. Blessings to you both. Blessings to you, my friend. Falcon, by the way, on my father's side, I've got a lot of family. Last name Falcon originally from the Mission, Texas area. So let me know if you part of that clan. We might be related. But thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Somebody's seeing Fosnots out there. I'm not seeing Fosnots out there. He's usually around somewhere, but anyway.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm trying to read some of these comments here. Got some good ones, guys. We're going to get to them.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute. We got to read all this because I can't read and talk at the same time. My mind doesn't work that way, even with the wine.
Yeah. So while you're reading, I'm going to give us a plug here. So everyone out there, click the like button. It helps us. It gets us out there in the algorithm. And if you're on Eddie's channel, click the like there. Go over to mine, click the like, and go back to Eddie's channel. If you don't like us, I'm going to use Eddie's line on this. Click the thumb down twice so we get double extra bad negativity from you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, where we got Fozzie? What is it? Foznuts? Fozzie nuts?
Fosnuts.
Foznuts.
He's
Okay.
always around. Card declined and kicked out of the buffet. I love Fosnut's comments.
This one right here. But watching Zelensky get the boot from the White House was the most satisfying thing I have seen on the internet in a long time. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, let me tell you. Where are we? Okay, you watch that, and I'm going to get on to my next point. So, has everybody here seen the clip of the? I'm sure you have, of the exchange between Trump and Zelensky. I'm going to go ahead and play. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but I'm going to play it for you guys, and we'll probably have to stop it in between and do a little bit of commentary because there's some points I'd like to make, and it'll give us some chance to catch up with what's going on in the in the chat. But here you go, man. This is the most satisfying several minutes of TV that I have seen in a long time. Here we go.
You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Do you think he was triggered here when J.D. Vance brought up the point that with Biden, it was all words and the actions were just send money and munitions?
Yep.
Here in our administration, we're about diplomacy. So different tactics, it's just a different battlefield today. But this guy, he wants to say something. So here you go.
he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I
he killed.
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but,
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line.
Let me stop that right there, because what happened right before 2014, and that's 2013, 2014, right in that frame, right? That time frame? Maidan.
Yeah.
The Maidan coup in Ukraine. And who was probably one of the chief architects, the chief
Putin.
people at the State Department making this happen. And we've got
Victoria Nuland.
Vicky Nuland. Absolutely.
And And what's his name from Arizona? Senator, dead now.
McCain.
Yeah,
John McCain.
John McCain.
So John McCain and Victoria Nuland and a whole bunch of other unelected bureaucrats were behind the coup, the Maidan coup. And if you want backstory to that, I'm going to mention it one more time. And I sure hope maybe Oliver Stone can send us some, what is it that you get paid for when you sponsor something? All right.
Sponsorship.
Anyway, sponsorship. Yes, because I'm plugging his documentary, but the documentary is called Ukraine on Fire. If you haven't seen it, you need to find it and look for it. But and of course, Trump is quick to say, "I wasn't here," so that wasn't my problem.
Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind?
So I'm going to stop it here for a second because we also have comments out there about that. Jim is saying that, you know, he's outright lying here. He's actually, Jim's partially correct, partially not. The DPR and the LNR had their own militias in 2014, much like Crimea had their own militia in 2014. However, as my darling, lovely Ukrainian wife, Eastern Ukrainian wife, was fond of saying, we had across the street from us a guy from Germany, from our house in the U.S., and we were at a tea. We were here. Here's the German guy, and then there was a Mexican family here. And she would say, you know, it's kind of like if the Mexicans and the Germans were having a fight, and we said, whichever one, guys, we're going out to dinner. We left the garage unlocked. Please keep an eye on it. And while we were gone, one of them went in and took all their weapons and all of our weapons and ammunitions out of the garage and used it against the other guy. Russia was supplying weapons to the Donbass. They supplied a lot of humanitarian aid, but they were supplying weapons. But Zelensky is sitting here saying, oh, we signed peace agreements. They were killing our people. No, Poroshenko was killing his people. Poroshenko called them essentially cockroaches that should be stomped out. Their children should also be killed because they aren't smart enough to go to school. They didn't deserve pensions. It's his own country that was killing their own countrymen, not Russia. So he was lying. And Putin didn't break any agreements. We talked about that last night. Mm-hmm. If you want more on that,
correct,
go check last night's stream and about the Minsk agreements, and I'll let that go out there.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
He's totally closed off to the idea of diplomacy. Body language says it all.
And what is the comment everyone missed there from him?
What, the Sukhablet? Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. The algorithm doesn't know Russian.
Yeah, I didn't know Russian. Thank goodness.
Yes.
But yeah,
Zelensky called J.D. Vance an effing bitch.
yep. And you can look at his body language. He's completely. This means no. I'm not accepting diplomacy.
Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? That you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems?
What?
Right there, he says, you bring them in on a propaganda trip. He's talking about the Hollywood actors who all, Sean Penn, I don't know. I don't keep up with them. But
even the European leaders that come in.
Exactly. But
So,
this guy, Zelensky, didn't do it. Who did it, Kevin? The deep state, those unelected bureaucrats behind USAID and all that. They're the ones who paid for all that. Go ahead.
So before you start this up again, I was looking at some analyses of body language, and most of them pissed me off because they had no clue what they were talking about. Andy, one of our other idiots, sent me a video today that was very good on body language, stuff that I've learned even. Look at the three guys. You have Trump sitting forward, leaning forward. You have Vance leaning forward, and Zelensky sitting back. When you're trying to make a point and be in control, you tend to lean forward in your chair. You lean back when you're closed off, when you're feeling defeated. Now, Trump's sitting there with his hands like this. That's saying that he's in control. And if you watch through this, Trump eventually will invade Zelensky's space. You watch Zelensky when he makes his arm movements towards Trump, they're limited to his body. And Trump, to assert himself, reaches into Zelensky's space and even at one point pushes him. Is I'm in charge here.
Yeah, there's a lot being said here.
Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Whoa. So he's making a comment about that the U.S. is somewhat insulated from attacks, wars, things like this from the past because of our distance between and our location with two large oceans between us. He says, but what about the future? What is he talking about? Is he talking about maybe terrorist attacks within the United States from maybe some Ukrainian diaspora who are maybe not loyal to America? I'm just saying. I'm just speculating.
Yeah,
Don't take it to
but
the
you
bank.
don't threaten Trump.
Yeah, but exactly. But this is when I heard this, I was like, whoa. Is he talking about, are there Ukrainian SBU units that have infiltrated through the Ukrainian diaspora here in the United States who may be activated at one point? Who knows? It's all a possibility. But when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, basically.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're
not
in no
saying that.
position to
The US
dictate that.
That's
exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're
doing. I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and
of
he
the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not in a
Mr.
good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with all
back to you,
respect to your
far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
you're speaking
America
about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If
West?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me.
you
You see that?
There was the
that
push. There was the actual physical contact right there.
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course,
It's
yes.
going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
It's going to be very difficult to do business this way. And if you notice, I might even see if I can back this up a little bit. Let me see if I can back this up. Just a few seconds. Check this
Maybe
out.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course,
It's
yes.
going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Who is he looking at? Who is he directing that comment to? Because he's not looking at Zelensky. He's not telling Zelensky it's difficult to do business with. Okay, if we're talking about body language, who is he directing that comment to? He was looking in another direction. I don't know if it's a particular person, but he's looking at somebody else and he's telling them, I can't do business like this.
I am betting from when you see the picture of the Ukrainian ambassador doing this,
Mm-hmm.
she is about right there in Trump's field of vision.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. But he's talking to somebody else. He's like, I can't do business with this guy.
I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except
times
that there,
thank you
except
to
that,
American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why
So Trump right here now is saying, I'm glad this happened. And I'm glad that there's cameras everywhere. And I'm glad that it's on record now, because the deep state for years has been saying Russia is losing. We just need to send just a little bit more to Ukraine, just a little bit more support, and we've got it. We're pushed them back. We're almost there. For 3 years, they kept with that same message to the American people. We need more money. We need this. We need that. And right now, here, all of that entire shit show lie is crumbling in front of millions, in front of cameras. Love it.
So, I'm just looking here. And again, I don't know who the heck took over CNN lately, but after Friday, 68% of Americans say they're in favor of peace, but, and this is a big but, 68% are against giving them more aid.
Yeah. And I think we can thank a lot of this right here, this exchange right here. This vindicated Trump. And not only that, it goes a little deeper. I don't know if I have it in this clip or not.
kept
Let's
this
play it
going
on.
so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there.
I want to stop it just for a second because you notice that in the last couple of times you've clicked play, he's tending to look down. Zelensky's looking down to the floor. That is the sign of somebody who's been defeated.
Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good
I
thing.
know
And
I
then,
got
then you
that.
tell us, I don't want a
See?
ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with
a
you.
guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question.
I think this is the moment where Trump said, we're done with this guy.
Yeah.
Actually, and there's a longer clip that we wanted to show, and maybe I don't have it. I think you may have it, where
I have
they
it
go
linked
on
in
and
the description of last night's show.
okay, because he's talking about Russiagate and the Russia hoax.
Yeah.
And that portion is very, very important as well. But let's kind of lighten this up a little bit. And here's what happened in the aftermath of this right here.
You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you,
I want to watch
I
that
love
again.
that.
you don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you.
I
So-
swear that probably happened.
Yeah. But I want to make a comment here to stay us on, keep us on the good side of the YouTube algorithm. That is a deep fake.
That is AI. Yes.
We are required to point that out to people or we get nicked. So
That's AI, by the way.
So
But,
the whole
go
ceasefire thing, let's visit that for a minute. You know, Zelensky was talking about ceasefire, and the EU is talking about ceasefire. Not once had Trump talked about a ceasefire. It was all about the mineral rights. We will sign a deal with Russia. They will quit shooting at your people. We'll put Americans and American companies working in there, and there's your security degree. But everyone wants the ceasefire with security guarantees in it. However, let's put an analogy on this. You're going to go buy a new car, Eddie, and you come to me, the car salesman, and you say, I want a car. I want this car. I'm a Ford dealer. and you want to buy a Chevrolet, and you come to me and you say, I want a Chevrolet, I want it in this color, I want a 454 Hemi in it, I want this, I want the financing at this, and I don't want this, I don't want this, I want all this. Before you ever come into the dealership and say, what do you have? And this is Zelensky. He's got this big list of what he wants in his new car, but he doesn't understand he's at the wrong dealership. And,
Exactly.
you know, well, I want a security guarantee. The security guarantee comes during the negotiation process. It doesn't come before it. He wants to go in and say, these are the terms of the deal for a ceasefire. He's trying to negotiate it. He's doing what he accuses the United States of doing. He's trying to negotiate it again without Russia. Russia gets no say in it. He said in this clip, yeah, we don't get a say in our own security agreement or in our own security. Well, Russia doesn't get a say about them stopping shooting.
Yeah.
Just Trump's dealing with it like a businessman. Let's sit down. Let's get the mineral rights. There's your security guarantee. And then we'll sit down and we'll talk about what Russia's willing to do, what Ukraine's willing to do. And where there's differences, we'll work them out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some good questions out there. We will get to them in just a second. I want to play another clip. This is
so I'm going to address Doc here. You obviously missed the point, Doc. He's going in, he's saying this is what he wants, but it's what he can't get. And he doesn't know what he can't get because he hasn't talked to Russia. So, you know, think it through a little bit. And no, I'm not the nice host here.
That's all right. Anyway, if you don't know who this guy is, this is McFall. I can't even remember his first name. What is this? I don't know. He blocked me on X, so I must be doing something right. But anyway, now he is a professor at Stanford, I believe. He was at one time during the Obama administration U.S. ambassador to Russia. He hates Russia with every fiber of his being. McFall. Yeah. Listen to this guy. This is hours after that fiasco in the Oval Office.
He said, but the real thing is we need to get the vice president out of the negotiations here. He's not an expert on these issues. We need the Secretary of State to reassert himself and to take charge of these negotiations. Otherwise, we're not going to be helping here. And I want to be crystal clear about this. Do we understand what's going on here? You know, when Hitler invaded Poland, we didn't take the side of Hitler. When the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, we didn't take the side of the Soviets. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait and annexed Kuwait, we didn't take the side of Saddam. This is a historic turning point in terms of...
I have to stop this for a second, only because he mentioned Afghanistan. But he forgets that the United States went in against Afghanistan too.
He forgets a lot of history.
Joined up, same side as Russia. Russia said, we're out of here. The United States said, we'll take over. How'd that work out for them?
American foreign policy, where instead of siding with the Democrats, the president is alluding he wants to side with the autocrat, the dictator Putin. And that is not in America's long-term national interest.
That is McFall's entire message right there. Yeah. He is so pissed because he can see the pivot from the EU and the UK and all of that. He could see the pivot of the United States toward the global South, and he's panicked. Absolutely panicked. And why is he so adamant about getting rid of J.D. Vance in lieu of Rubio?
I was going to say, does he really think Rubio would have been any gentler? I think Vance was the better one to have talking there, because Rubio can be pretty in your face.
He can be very blunt. And the fact is that Lord help me, I hope I'm not speaking too soon. But so far, what I have seen out of Rubio is nothing but, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm saying loyalty to Donald Trump's agenda is what I mean. He has been on point, and he's not wavered. So that's good.
So here's a comment from RuTube that I just copied over since I can't put them up here. So no longer Trump's monkey, no longer Trump's circus. Let's keep in mind that it very well could be that Trump is looking just for an exit strategy. He wants to create peace. He wants to pull the United States out. He doesn't want an Afghanistan. And Zelensky gave it to him. The United States can sit back and say, well, you're on your own, and now we're going to go talk to Russia.
And that's a very good segue to my next point, that now this kind of frees Trump, because Trump here is trying to say, look, I need to fix America. That's what Make America Great Again is all about. But I cannot get to make America great again while I've got this little Ukraine fiasco circus going on. We need to put this behind us so I can concentrate over here. And so this is no, I can't even think of the word right now. This is the hurry that Trump is feeling. So let me play you this, because I think the day after this fiasco in the White House, this may have been Saturday, I believe, President Putin put this message out.
Мы, кстати говоря, готовы были бы предложить и американским нашим партнерам, когда я партнеры говорю, имею в виду только административные, правительственные структуры, ну и компании, если бы они проявили интерес к совместной работе. У нас, безусловно, на порядок, я хочу это подчеркнуть, на порядок больше ресурсов подобного рода, чем в Украине. Россия является одним из безусловных лидеров по запасам этих редких и редкоземельных металлов. Они у нас имеются и на севере, в Мурманске, на Кавказе, в Кабарде-на-Балкарии, на Дальнем Востоке, в Иркутской области, в Якутии, в Тыве. Это достаточно капиталоемкие инвестиции, проекты капиталоемкие. Мы с удовольствием работали бы совместно с любыми иностранными партнерами, в том числе с американскими. Да, кстати говоря, что касается новых территорий, то же самое. Мы готовы привлечь иностранных партнеров и так называемые новые наши исторические территории, которые вернули в состав Российской Федерации. Там тоже есть запасы определенные. Мы готовы с нашими партнерами, в том числе с американскими, работать там.
And you know,
that was not just. Go ahead.
As I say, to me, that says I've already spoken to Trump since Zelensky is an idiot. Zelensky's stupid. Put him in the other category. I'm going to let you go all the way up to the Dnieper River, take all those territories that have those mineral rights, and we'll do business with you.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's a certain glee in President Putin's eye, and kind of an excitement in his voice, in a Russian kind of way, about the possibility of investment by, I like his word, partners. Okay?
Yeah.
And so he's open to this. And now, with this fiasco happened in the White House, this frees President Trump to say, look, I can't deal with this guy. I tried to make a deal with this guy. I can't do it. President Putin's offering a good deal. I'm a business guy. I'm going over here.
It's good for America. Yeah.
And he can sell that to the American people now. Easily sell it. And so, yeah, what's not the love about this deal?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we are at the 1 hour and 5 minutes, and I've got a couple of more clips I want to run through really fast. But notwithstanding,
and then I have
go ahead.
breaking news. You do the clips, and I have breaking news out of London.
Ah, okay. You want me to do this clip, and then you do breaking news, or you want to do it now?
First, because we
Okay.
might get another update. Yeah, go for it.
I've got a clip here. This is Sergei Lavrov, Russian foreign minister, talking about the Marco Rubio and Waltz and their delegation. And listen to the words that he has to say about them.
Его команда, вот и Марко Рубио, и советник по нацбезопасности Майк Волтс, абсолютно вменяемые люди, во всех смыслах слова. Они разговаривают, исходя из того, что не командуют они нами, и мы ими не командуем. Просто две серьезных страны.
Wow. Right there. Sergei Lavrov says Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz are sane people. They're not, as Sergei Lavrov is fond of calling some folks morons.
Yeah.
And so he can negotiate with these people. He could speak to them. And so these are very good words for
And
Marco Rubio.
who from Ukraine has ever spoken to Lavrov during the last 3 years? Nobody.
Nobody. What is your breaking news?
Oh, you don't want to do your last couple clips?
I could do the last couple of because we'll go on a little bit further. But anyway, so I found this on X and I thought it was hilarious. But like all memes, a lot of truth in it.
Go to work, but then I got high. Ooh, I just got a new promotion, but I got high. Now I'm selling dope, and I know why. Why, man? Hey, 'cause I got high. Because I got high.
Yeah, he was coming down from that high too during that meeting. But I got the last clip of the night. I'm going to put this on here. This was on X as well. By the way, if you're not on X, you should be. And when you're there, you need to follow me. And look for the links down in the description. You'll find my link there. Subscribe. Also, Kevin, you have an X account too?
I have an X account too. It's x.com/American Crimea. Same as my YouTube URL.
My handle is a little different because it's very difficult to change your handle once you get into X. And mine is comrade_EG. Anyway, this is this is an American veteran who's got some words for Zelensky.
It's an offer for the American people and says that we'll be sending our children to fight in the war in Ukraine and Russia. I've got a counter offer to that. Why don't you take us 40-something-year-old war veterans that have already been there and done that, round us all up and send us in our children's place. But there's one catch. When my boots hit the ground in Ukraine, I won't be going after Russians. I'm coming to see you, sir, for threatening to take my children's lives on a battlefield for a war that I didn't want to be part of in the first place. I think I speak for most Americans when I say, you can kick rocks, pal.
That's it. And that is the majority of Trump's base right there in a nutshell. I'm done, sir.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, hey, we got to do this right. So, heck, where the heck am I? Here, we'll do it right. Hey, Had to throw that in there.
Do
So
it.
this hot off the press, just a short time ago. What's come out of this meeting today is the UK and France are going to craft they even use George Bush's words, a coalition of the willing. They're going to craft a Ukraine peace plan to present to Trump. And this is from Starmer himself. He said that Britain and France will work to craft a ceasefire deal that will be presented to the United States, and they will seek to build a coalition of the willing to enforce peace. And what we have is they have the former Eastern Bloc countries, Poland, to act as peacekeepers, but other European nations, notably Italy, Germany. Oh no, Poland shut it down. So I'm not sure which Eastern Bloc nations are going to act as peacekeepers. But Italy, Germany, and Poland said, nope, we're not in for that. So they're looking to find those countries in Europe that are prepared to be a bit more forward-leaning. So rather than a move at the pace of every single member, every single country in Europe, which would be in the end a quite slow pace, I think we'll go to get a coalition of the willing now.
Interesting. That is
what it means. They want to send troops, they want to send money, or they want a ceasefire plan to send to Trump. You know what will happen if it goes beyond, did you, this is Trump's question. Did you talk to Russia about this before you made a ceasefire plan? No?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is when you mentioned George Bush and the coalition term, it sounded very deep state-ish from the get-go.
Yes.
Yeah.
All but which. Coalition of the willing can't even muster an expeditionary force.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Hey, we made it. Hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah. You want to address anything in the...
Let's see what we got here.
Let it go for the night.
I think we can probably let it go. I think we covered most of these. Yeah. I think everything's been addressed. Just maybe this is a good hypothetical. How about US, UK operatives at risk and therefore and other deep state assassination on Trump? That is a possibility, but now I am more concerned with Ukrainian factions within the United States. But that's just me. That's just the cop side of me. That's just the conspiracy theorist part of me thinking out loud.
And I'm thinking that Zelensky needs to be watching his back, because the other thing that came out in the Western press today was that I don't remember, was the House or the Senate, is proposing to indict Zelensky for stealing weapons and selling them on the black market. Now, think about it. The CIA can pick you up no matter where you are in the world. And with the way he gets around, that would be bad for him. Is it true? I don't know. Tucker Carlson claims that it's true.
Yeah, I'll just address this right here from Sean H. It's only 2 men not controlled by the New World Order. I think there's a few more. I would throw in China, North Korea, possibly Modi. We'll see. Orban. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few more. And absolutely, I read this as well. Yeah, Scott Ritter talked about this. absolutely. And it sounds credible. So we'll see. And not so much credible because I haven't seen the information, but it sounds plausible and probable. And that's what scares me, when it's probable.
Yep. And I'm going to address this just because Emily claims to have lots of knowledge that she doesn't have. Emily, you haven't been watching the news. It was released yesterday.
Yeah. Highly not redacted, but it was just a partial list, but more supposedly coming. But anyway, don't get distracted by the Epstein deal and the FBI files and all that. That is another internal war that is happening within the deep state. Make no mistake. There is a war going on within that, but don't get it distracted. This right here, what we've been talking about, is the much bigger picture. So don't get lost in the weeds. But anyway, thanks, guys. And Murat, thank you so much. Where are you? He should have flown to Moscow instead of London. Yeah, he should have. But
and Odious, Russia knows where Zelensky is at any point. They've had several opportunities to do a missile strike on him. Most notably, every time he goes to the front, they know where he is. So.
Yeah, 1.3 million Ukrainian in Canada is a huge problem. We'll see. We'll see. If I were Kash Patel, I'd be keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, both Vancouvers, U.S. and British Columbia, have them.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you all so much for joining us on tonight's Sunday Night Live. Appreciate it. I'm about to finish my wine for the night. Thank you so much. Any last words, Kevin?
Nope. Don't repeat stuff before you look into it. That's the only thing I have to say.
Sounds good. All right, guys, we'll see you again next Sunday for sure. Well, hopefully next Sunday. And maybe during the week if Baka happens. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Baka.